The numbers should look unbeatable. Texas brings in nearly $200 billion a year from tourism, powering over 1 million jobs. But in March 2021, Texas leaders made a choice that nobody saw coming. A $3.4 billion emergency cash grab, funds torn away from hotels and parks and rerouted to the border, all without public debate. The official story insists it was about security. Yet behind closed doors, state auditors warned of disaster, and not one politician listened. Now entire communities are watching as boycotts slash bookings by 70%, foreign visitors vanish, and businesses crumble while leaders chase headlines, not solutions. What drove the people in charge to sabotage their own golden industry? And how much closer are we to collapse than anyone realizes? March 2021, the governor's budget team meets behind closed doors. Their decision lands like a thunderclap. $3.4 billion, once earmarked for tourism, parks, and local events, is seized overnight and funneled to the border. The justification is written in the language of emergency, a disaster declaration signed and stamped that unlocks sweeping powers. Normal budget guardrails vanish. Statutes meant to protect public funds are sidestepped, letting leadership move money with a single executive order. No public hearing, no warning to city councils or tourism boards. The dollars start flowing out of hotel grants and festival sponsorships, draining the accounts that keep Texas's visitor economy alive. Within days, state agencies receive new marching orders, cancel travel marketing, freeze grants, halt upgrades to convention centers and historic sites. The Texas Department of Parks and Wildlife is told to suspend planned improvements. Local tourism boards watch their budgets shrink to zero. The memo is clear. Border enforcement takes priority over every other line item. One official, speaking off the record, calls it a raid on the future. Contractors line up for the windfall, but the businesses that depend on every tourist dollar are left stranded. In San Antonio, the annual Fiesta event faces immediate cuts. In the Rio Grande Valley, hotel managers slash hours for their front desk staff, bracing for a season without advertising or new bookings. The dominoes begin to fall, not just in border towns, but across every city and small town that relies on visitors to pay for roads, schools, and emergency services. By the end of March, the first layoffs hit. One budget analyst sums it up. This isn't just a reallocation, it's a siphon, one that drains the lifeblood of Texas tourism all at once, and without a single vote from the people who stand to lose the most. Every redirected dollar leaves a hole in Main Street. The scale is staggering. The message from the top is unmistakable. Political theater comes first. Local economies and the families who depend on them are left to fend for themselves. Vendors crowd the corridors of state office buildings, briefcases in hand, waiting for their chance. The rules of competition are gone. No public bid, no open review. In the months after the disaster declaration, contracts worth millions are handed out with a signature and a wink. Security firms, construction magnates, and tech suppliers, many with deep ties to political donors, collect windfalls for border projects. The paperwork moves so fast that even long-time auditors struggle to keep track. A state audit, released quietly in June 2024, flags inconsistencies, unaccounted for line items, and evidence of emergency contracts awarded on a patronage basis. The language is clinical, but the meaning is plain. Friends of power are cashing in while everyone else is left out. Inside the Texas Department of Public Safety, the mood sours. Officers grumble about budget holes and missing equipment. In March 2024, a staff meeting grows heated. One supervisor warns, diverting funds leaves us exposed statewide. The response from above is cold. Border spending is the only priority. The memo goes no further. Leadership buries it, wary of headlines. Meanwhile, watchdog groups file open records requests, chasing a paper trail that keeps vanishing into redacted pages and legal threats. Contractors who win the largest awards often show up at campaign fundraisers, but the donation records are buried in a maze of PSC filings and shell companies. The system is built for speed, not scrutiny. Industry groups sound the alarm in private. The Texas Hotel and Lodging Association sends confidential letters to lawmakers. We are bleeding out. The dollars lost to border contracts will never come back to Main Street. Their warnings are ignored. The governor's office is too busy staging press conferences at the border wall, touting new deployments and photo ops. Every deal made in secret, every warning brushed aside, pushes the collapse one step closer. The profits are real, the risks are ignored, and the people left behind are invisible until the damage is done. 72 hours. That's how long it takes for the floor to drop out. The moment Canadian travel advisories hit the headlines in May 2024, booking platforms across Texas register a crash. Reservations from Canada fall by more than 70% almost overnight. Hotel chains scramble to make sense of the numbers. Second quarter earnings calls are filled with phrases like unprecedented drop and immediate market correction. In border cities, occupancy rates nosedive by 29% compared to last year. San Antonio's luxury hotels, once booked solid for summer, report entire wings sitting dark and empty. The pain doesn't stop at the northern border. European bookings slip by 17%, while Mexican visitors, a lifeline for South Texas, drop by 23%. The ripple spreads fast. National travel companies yank Texas from their summer packages, citing demand that evaporated in a single news cycle. One Canadian tour operator puts it plainly: "We pulled Texas from every package. Our clients demanded it. The backlash was instant and bookings dropped off a cliff. Major hotel groups slashed their forecasts." In Laredo, the front desk staff at a once busy border hotel is cut in half. Managers cancel overtime, then cut hours, then post layoff notices. The city's hospitality tax revenue, a key source for local schools and road repairs, falls off a cliff. In McAllen, airport arrivals sink as international carriers drop routes, citing market instability. No advertising campaign can fill the rooms left empty by foreign boycotts. Domestic travelers don't make up the difference. They never have, and the data proves it. The numbers tell a single story. When outside markets turn their backs, Texas's visitor economy unravels at breathtaking speed. Behind every lost booking, there's a job erased, a business teetering, a community left to wonder if the tourists will ever come back. Maria Alvarez stands at the curb outside her apartment, clutching a plastic bag filled with her children's clothes. The eviction notice, stamped March 5th, 2025, leaves no room for hope. 3 weeks in a car, engine idling for warmth, no school for her kids, and every call to a hotel ends the same way. "We're not hiring." Maria's last paycheck barely covered groceries, let alone rent. Her landlord, voice shaking, admits she tried. Partial payments every week. "But I have bills too." Maria's story is repeated in hundreds of border towns and tourist cities. In the spring of 2025, Feeding Texas reports a surge of families seeking help after losing jobs in hospitality. Local aid agencies scramble to fill the gap as city budgets shrink. The numbers are relentless. 1.3 million Texans once worked in tourism, but now hotel lobbies echo with silence. Each empty room means another family at risk. A decade ago, economists warned that removing 1.4 million undocumented workers would cost Texas $17.7 billion in GDP. Today, the threat isn't just theoretical. Immigrants make up nearly a quarter of the Texas workforce and drive $192 billion in economic activity each year. When jobs disappear, so does the spending that keeps Main Street alive. The Dallas Fed's latest update is blunt. Texas' economy is growing below trend, with increased uncertainty. Maria calls every hotel in San Antonio, then in the next county. "Nobody's hiring. I'm scared every day." Her words echo through empty corridors and shuttered storefronts. The risk isn't isolated, it's systemic. Every lost job, every eviction, every closed business is a warning. If leaders keep ignoring these signals, the collapse won't stop at the border. It will sweep through the heart of Texas. The cost isn't measured in headlines or contracts. It's counted in futures lost, one family at a time. In 2024, Texas tourism generated $199.5 billion, and supported 1.3 million jobs. But within months of Operation Lone Star's first cash transfer in March 2021, international travel bookings crashed. Canadian visits fell by 70%, European by 17%, and Mexican by 23%. Auditors warned that funds meant for growth were quietly redirected as no-bid contracts multiplied. Maria Alvarez's eviction in October 2024 is just one example among thousands losing homes and livelihoods. The July 2025 Dallas Fed note calls the statewide risk structural, not cyclical. Yet, key internal memos on safety cuts and contractor ties remain classified. What's clear? Texas leaders prioritize political theater over proven economic engines, ignoring their own data and warnings from experts. The results are not temporary setbacks, they are permanent losses. The record shows every decision has consequences. And for Texas tourism, those choices are costing billions, jobs, and futures.